This wasn't the video I had planned. Because yeah, I've been missing pretty much all of this year. I haven't done any videos. A lot has happened. Yeah, and I'm still processing it all. But as you can see, it wasn't a relapse or anything. That's not why I disappeared. I look the same. But yeah, a lot has happened. Some good, some not so good. And it will be okay. I just needed some time away, time to figure out what was going on, but also because of what was happening, I didn't want to trigger anyone. I didn't want to upset anyone. So yeah. So I don't know if you can hear, but we got a dog. We adopted a little Maltese Shih Tzu. He's 2 years old. His name's Dusty. We adopted him from our neighbour's parents. They couldn't look after him anymore, and he's actually the same breed that I had in the past, and he has just been the best thing ever. We've just been walking and he's really dirty, so he's really cute. He's really excited because we just went walking. Oh, hello. So he's been amazing for me. He's been my little friend and he's been a huge source of comfort. So we've had him a couple of months now and he's got some training to do. But yeah. So I guess we'll start from, like, let me explain what has been going on, because not only did I disappear from here, but I disappeared pretty much off Instagram as well. So what was happening was I was sick, and like, I was really sick. I was so nauseous all the time with the occasional, like occasionally throwing up. And I just, this is gonna sound disordered, but it's really not. I couldn't eat what I needed to be eating. I was eating enough to get by, but the variety and stuff wasn't there. And so I had to eat very bland foods. I was just eating the same thing every day because I couldn't stomach anything. I was given medication, which has worked in the past when I've been really nauseous. It wasn't working. And that's what made me think, I don't think this is just like a side effect of an eating disorder. I've been in recovery long enough now to not just be getting nauseous from just general eating. I was nauseous, I was so tired, I was in a lot of pain, and just, it sucked. Like, didn't know what was going on. It took ages for a medical professional to believe me. I actually got kicked out of treatment temporarily because they're like, you're not cooperating. And I'm like, I'm trying my best. Like, I don't want to go backwards. And I think that was the turning point for people believing me when I said, I don't want to go back to where I was, because it got me nowhere. Like, being as sick as I possibly could was still not getting my needs met. And now I understand why. But even when I thought that's what was happening, it never did. Like, because being thin and being in hospital never really, it didn't get me anywhere. Like, at the end of the day, I was still alone, still misunderstood, still confused, and still lost. And I get it if you're in that place now, how, you know, being sick does get your needs met, but for me personally, it wasn't. And it's not like I don't miss that life, because I still do. Like, I wouldn't say I'm fully recovered, but I'm in a place where I'm just like, food is food. It is what it is, but that's because stuff happened that got me here. So yeah, I was really sick and it went on for months. And because I've got Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, they started to think, maybe there's something physical going on. And I'm like, well, yeah, obviously. And so I thought maybe gastroparesis, because I was diagnosed that prior to my eating disorder. I've got mild gastroparesis because of the Ehlers-Danlos, and I'm like, maybe it's because of that or something like that. So we were slowly getting the referrals done, but one of them was mast cell activation disorder, so it's basically you're allergic to life, and I have still haven't been tested, and it wouldn't surprise me if I have it, but because I am allergic to random things all the time. But so I was getting all these tests and everyone's like, doing this, doing that, no. Anyway, I was at an appointment and I was just so nauseous, and the practitioner said to me, I think you need to go to hospital. I think you need to go to emergency and get this seen to, because it was impacting my life. Like, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't function. I couldn't even challenge myself and my eating disorder because I couldn't stomach half the food. I wasn't losing weight or anything. Like, again, not an eating disorder thing. It really sucked not being able to eat and not craving food, and yeah, it really sucked. It was such a different mentality to the eating disorder one, where it was super intentional. This, I was out of complete control. So I took myself to emergency, stressed as, because I was like, they might just flag me as mental health and just put it down to the eating disorder again and blah, 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 blah. So I was terrified of being there. So I did all the right things and like told them the truth, and I was by myself for a while as well, and got in. They got me in finally. Didn't give me anything to help the nausea, but it was getting worse again. Got some blood tests, so that was something, and then I waited for hours. And I was waiting, and then the doctor eventually pulled me into a private room and told me something that changed everything, and was just the biggest shock that could be possible for me. I was pregnant, so it was morning sickness I was experiencing. And as soon as she told me, I threw up, which is just like, I think it was a shock response. And I was in like, I didn't know how to react, because I've been told I didn't even know if it was possible. Like, yeah, but my body had managed to do it. Like, we didn't know what my fertility was doing. I hadn't gotten a proper period yet, so we didn't think it was possible. No one thought to test that, but all the symptoms made sense now. So they tested me and they assumed I was at a certain time, but they're like, oh, you're gonna have to get scans and stuff to confirm. And I was like, okay. Went home, we told everyone, and everyone was just as shocked as we were, but everyone was so excited. And then we got really excited, Jessie and I got really excited as well, because we didn't know if this was possible. And I was like, I'm actually experiencing happiness, because I hadn't had any sort of joy or happiness once I'd weight restored and all of that. Like, I was like, life's shit after an eating disorder. Like, it's not any better. Why am I here? But it suddenly seemed worth it. And the thoughts, like, they sort of disappeared. It's weird. I'm not saying get pregnant to make your eating disorder go away, but this pregnancy mattered more than my eating disorder. And I was like, okay, I've got to get on top of everything. I've got to start taking supplements, because I was really stressed because I wasn't taking anything. I was still drinking caffeine because I didn't know it was possible. And so started doing all that, and I had lots of people reassure me that eat what you can with the morning sickness, because it's hard. It sucks. And so I was craving a lot of salty foods, a lot of carb-rich foods. I could manage fruit and some vegetables, but I was kind of turned off them, so it was really weird. I was craving things like chips and stuff, which apparently is really normal. So I started eating all these foods that I hadn't touched for a long time and had been avoiding. And it just changed everything. I was starting to get hungry. I was like, getting, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm doing this. Like, this is what it's for. And so went for the initial scan, and they're like, oh, it's too early to tell. We couldn't see too much yet, so you'll have to come back in a few weeks. And I'm like, that's disappointing. But I'm looking forward to seeing our little one. And my co-worker happened to be pregnant at the same time. And so it was really cool, because we were like going through this together. We'd both be dying at work together. And like, yeah, so things were going on. And then I got my regular blood test that I needed for it. And the doctor's like, not too sure about what's going on here. We'll get a scan done. We'll see where you're at, because we still don't really have a date. And it'd been weird, because I did bleed earlier in the year, but like the times weren't lining up very well. And we're just like, it's just because everything's irregular. My body's still settling, all that stuff. And yeah, that's when doubt started coming in my mind, and the worst possible scenarios started coming in my mind. And I was starting to get really anxious. And then the horrible part was the eating disorder started coming back in, and it was like, oh, what if you've been eating all this food for nothing, and resting more for nothing, and all this stuff. And I was just like, no, it's gonna be fine. Like, it's not for nothing, you know? And because I just really let myself be free with the pregnancy and eating until the morning sickness passed. And so that was a good thing. And so we went to the scan, and it was really weird. The sonographer didn't really talk to us or anything. So I was like freaking out, and I was stressed. And I was like, what the hell's going on? And Jessie said, she didn't even show us the screen. And like Jessie said, oh, I could see like a little blob and stuff. And I said, I think I'm about 6 weeks and all this stuff. But my symptoms were very severe for that early on. And so we started planning things. We started looking at stuff we were going to get. The family was getting really excited. Like we were even like talking about gender reveals and stuff like that. And then I went to the doctors, and I found out it wasn't viable. And that I had to miscarry the pregnancy. I had a week to do it. And if I didn't, I'd have to get it surgically done. And everything fell apart again. That was last Friday. Today is Wednesday. So it really hasn't been that long. And it sucks. It's shit. You know, I still had to go to work on Saturday. I still had to pretend to have a normal life because I don't have any employee benefits that gets me time off for this kind of thing. I just shut off again. And the thoughts to run back to my eating disorder were there. And you know what the shit thing is with a miscarriage is that the symptoms keep going until the hormones leave your body, which is a couple of weeks. It can be a couple of weeks after you miscarry. So I'm still going through that process. It is happening naturally. And it really sucks. It hurts. I still feel really sick. And the thought of what could have been is still there. And at the same time, I'm hearing my coworker getting excited about her pregnancy. And like, I nearly lost it yesterday, I will admit, because she was talking about the size of the baby and the testing. And she's like, oh, can you cover me this day? Because I've got to go for my scan. And I'm like, you know, I've literally just lost my baby. And I realized there was bigger losses to me. Like, this is to me personally. It might be different for you. But this loss was bigger than the loss of my eating disorder. And I knew going back to it, won't get me anywhere. But that wasn't the only thing that happened. So I'd been experiencing symptoms since like the start of the year, and this pregnancy was only 6 weeks old. So that wasn't making sense. And now we're starting to think, what if I was pregnant then as well, and I actually miscarried that first time as well? So I might have been through 2 miscarriages in less than 4 months. And I just want to be a mum. So because I'd been so sick, I just stayed off social media. I didn't want to be immersed in the eating disorder world anymore because I don't feel like now I'm a victim of my eating disorder. I want to be a support of others with it now. I want to move more into a professional world and go from that side now. So yeah, there just wasn't much for me to say, because how can I say I can't eat because I'm sick? And I didn't know why at the time. And now I've lost this, and there's been tears, don't get me wrong, but I'll explain why I'm not even crying right now. Because on the same day that I found out I'd lost the baby, I was diagnosed with autism, which a lot of people had suspected. I've been suspected by other medical professionals. And everything made sense for me. Like, my whole life started to make sense when I started looking into autism. And I've got ADHD and autism, so I've got the ADHD. And I was just listening to a podcast before, and it's like, it's literally a brain structural thing. Like, our brains are wired differently, and there's not much support for people with ADHD. And therapy doesn't traditionally work because it's targeted towards neurotypical or ADHD or autism, not both at the same time. So it's all making sense, and I can talk about that for days, and like, I've been really focusing on that to keep me by. But that is one of the reasons I have these massive meltdowns. That is one of the reasons I go numb and just switch off, which is where I'm at right now, because the emotions are just too big to process. And it's been hard. Like, it sucks. And I have people telling me that everything happens for a reason. It fucking doesn't. I'm sorry. That how is the loss of a child a reason for anything? They're like, oh, well, at least you know you can fall pregnant. And it's like, I didn't need to lose the baby to know that. And we also found out that 1 in 4 pregnancies end in miscarriage. Like, why is this not known? There's no support prior to 12 weeks of pregnancy, because that's when you're most likely to miscarry. And just all these things people have been saying to me has made me so angry right now and frustrated. And, you know, I've had people who've never been through a miscarriage telling me, it'll be okay, it happened for a reason, you can try again. Like, at least you know you can fall pregnant. And I just want to say to them, like, if this were you, would you be saying that? So, and now because of the autism diagnosis, I'm just really letting myself be me. I finally feel like I can do everything that I want to make myself comfortable and happy. And I wonder, like, if I'd been diagnosed as a kid, I don't think I would have developed my eating disorder, because that was a way to cope for me. And I can dwell on that for ages, but it's not going to change anything. So it's about the now. So that's what's been happening. I wish I was doing a video on a pregnancy update. I really do. And like, that's what I was waiting for to share. But this is reality. And I know after being sick for so long, it's not uncommon. And it's not to scare anyone, but I don't think there's enough awareness around these topics. So I'm putting my energy into my studies. I just finished my last class last night of my equine therapy course. So I want to work as an eating disorder practitioner. I want to be a mental health practitioner, so I'm looking at doing some more certifications to do that, because I've had enough. I'm not the victim anymore. It doesn't mean anorexia is still not in the back of my mind, but I'm choosing not to act on it. And I had to go through a lot to get to that place. And Dusty, come here. Oh God, you're so dirty. But the autism diagnosis has really helped because it explains a lot. And I could go into details about it, but it is what it is. And like, even the idea that I could possibly get Dusty certified as a support dog now, so I could take him everywhere, if he ever gets trained, because he's not the most obedient. But I gave up a lot for the pregnancy as well. I gave up horse riding, which I'd started, which I absolutely love. Like, I loved. The autism diagnosis, though, has qualified me for riding for the disabled, so I'm going to meet with them tomorrow to see if I can get back into it, because it's one of the things that really keeps me going. Food, right now, I'm still nauseous. Not as bad, but it's still not appealing. So I'm doing what I need to do, but I don't have strict, like, I don't have to eat at this time, or I eat when I'm hungry, because I actually get hungry now. I eat what I feel like I need and what I can manage right now. And once the hormones are out of my body, I will work with people to see if there is something else going on. If I'm still really nauseous and the hormones aren't, obviously there was some other medical problem going on with the nausea. But if it goes back to normal, I'll just go on with life. My treatment team are taking the pressure off me now to force me to do variety and stuff like that, because my brain just doesn't work that way. I'm really researching sensory things and dressing how I want now, and just being, sorry, I don't know if you can hear the dishwasher going off, but I'm not going to pretend to be neurotypical anymore, and I feel free for that. So I'm really putting a lot of energy into that right now, because it's too hard to think of the other stuff. And not only did, like, I feel responsible for the loss, even though I did everything I could, but it was my body that couldn't handle it. And it makes it really hard to like your body. I didn't like it before, especially with the Ehlers-Danlos, because it never functioned normally. But it's hard to appreciate it. It's hard to appreciate it even if you don't have chronic illnesses and stuff like that. Even if you haven't gone through a miscarriage. It's hard to appreciate it in this world. So don't let anyone tell you to love your body, appreciate body, because it is hard. And I am just going to be real from now on and be authentic. And I probably won't be posting much on my recovery account anymore, unless there's stuff you really want to see, because things are really different now. I don't want to be, like I said, a victim of an eating disorder anymore. I want to be on the other side helping others now. So I do have a new account. It's called Elise and the Herd, and it's where I'm going to be posting more support stuff. I don't know what I'm going to do with YouTube. I don't really know anything. My brain is just everywhere. And it's a lot. It's a lot to process. And I'm just keeping myself busy, and I know there'll be a moment when everything just hits me. And yeah. I'm not going to ramble on too long. But just know, if you've been through something similar, you're not alone. And I still want to try for kids again, but I am terrified now going through this. And there's nothing anyone can say to make it better. And you shouldn't tell people how to grieve. So it's even better because Mother's Day is coming up in a week or so. So there's just there's constant reminders everywhere. But as for the eating disorder, I've gotten through the worst of it now. And things will change and get better. And I just want you to know you deserve that too. And that if YouTube helps you, helps support you, then I might keep doing it. It's just really hard to find the time. And yeah. Don't give up. I was told I should give up. But it's not for me to tell you what to do. I'm not going to sit here and preach that recovery is worth it and then life will be so much better, because shit still happens after you recover. That's life. But I don't know, I feel like a different person now. So that's my update. Yeah. Sorry there's no food right now. I've already had breakfast and stuff. Dusty, what are you doing? I'm with the horses today, so that'll be nice. And yeah, we're still telling people about it. We're not really talking about it much. I can't speak for Jesse, of course, but I feel so bad for putting him through something else, for letting him down again. You know, people can tell me it's not my fault and you did everything you could, but I don't know. But I'm not gonna not be me now. So if people think I'm weird, I don't care. I don't care anymore. I'm tired of trying to fit into a mold. I don't need to now. And I encourage you, if you feel like you might have something, a neurodivergence, then you probably do. You don't need an official diagnosis to know that you do. I knew long before. And having it validated really did help for me, but that's because I needed it validated for different reasons. But know that if you feel it and you're not pretending, then you probably are. It's more common than people realize. And that you deserve care, you deserve support, you deserve to be heard. You deserve to be you and deserve to live a life that's worth living. So, yeah, that's my update. Thank you again, guys, for all your support. I'm sorry it was not the happiest video, but I don't know what else to say. I didn't know what to say while I was sick all that time. But yeah, follow my new page because I'll post lots of things once I'm eventually seeing people, which will be good. As an equine therapist, I just got to get a few more things sorted. Yeah, it's not all going to be about horses, of course. It'll be mental health in general, resources and different things, and not as much personal stuff because it is a professional page, but maybe I'll start to move my recovery account more into that if it helps. Also, the other reason I stopped was because I lost the Canva formatting for those things. I don't know how, but yeah, it sucks. It just sucks. So it's really day by day at the moment. And yeah. But I am here for you. And we will get through this, whether it's your eating disorder you're struggling with, or you've gone through something like this, or whatever it is you're struggling with. I'm here. We don't need to do it alone. And I want to know how to support you. And yeah, validate yourself. Validate your experience and don't let anyone else tell you different. I love you so much. I gotta go do some work. I've been putting it off. If I can focus. My brain's just everywhere. But you're worth it. You're worth saving. You're worth helping. But I want you to tell yourself that too. I know it's hard though. So, look after yourself. I am gonna be here. I'll be around. If there's certain videos or something that you do want to see, I'll probably do them. Because I do enjoy this. And like I said, I want to help. That's all I want to do right now. I don't want anyone to go through hell alone. We can do this. Love you guys, and thank you. I'm not okay right now, but I will be, like, yeah. You're worth it.